Hello and welcome to our new demonstration on UAF model visualization and pipelines with Syndeia. UAF models capture rich, structured architecture information for missions and enterprises, but that value is often locked inside modeling tools invisible to the broader project team. In this demo, we'll show you how Syndeia bridges that gap by automatically generating Confluence reports directly from a UAF search and rescue model, turning your system architecture into accessible, up-to-date documentation with no manual effort. Let's start with our source model. Here in Cameo Enterprise Architecture, we have a UF model for a search and rescue mission system. This model captures the full operational architecture, mission strategy and capabilities, mission operations and operational activities, mission services, and mission resources, all organized according to the UF standard. This model is managed on our Teamwork Cloud repository, which is the starting point for a demo. Now let's see how Syndeia connects this model to the rest of the digital thread. Switching over to the Syndeia web dashboard, we are now looking at the same UAF SAR model through Syndeia's Teamwork Cloud integration. Syndeia fetches the model directly from Teamwork Cloud repository without needing Cameo. Note that this is on a web browser and directly interacting with Teamwork Cloud, so you do not need Cameo or any of the modeling tool on your machine and can access this information from any standard device with the web browser. We have connected to the Teamwork Cloud repository using standard credentials. These are the categories that I have access to. If I expand that UAF models category, I can see the UAF SAR sample model. If I expand the model, I can see the different branches in the model. Or if I expand the revision category, I can see the different revisions of the model. I can start browsing from a particular revision, or I can start browsing the model in the latest revision on the latest branch or the trunk branch in that project. So if I expand that, I can see the project usages and the UAF SAR sample package. If I expand that, I can see the model package underneath it. And when I expand further, I can see the strategy package. If I expand that, I can see the strategic taxonomy package. And if I expand that, I can see the elements in the strategic taxonomy package, which are basically the capabilities that are shown here. If I click on a specific capability like the maritime SAR and click on the details panel, it tells me a little bit about that element, that it's basically a class, a UML class under the hood, but it's got the capability stereotype from the UF standard. If I select the relations tab, I can see all the incoming and outgoing relations that this element has to other elements of the model. I can quickly see that there are 4 incoming relations and there are 2 outgoing relations, which we'll also see in a moment in the graph view. And of course, there's a search tab through which you can do additional searches in the model. Now I can see that in the tree view, but I can also right click and go to the graph view where I can see that same maritime SAR capability in the graph view as a node. If I expand that, I can then see some of the other elements that it is related to. I'm going to also go ahead and expand the MSAR C2 phase 1, which is specialization of that capability, also a capability by itself. And if I expand that, I can see more elements and their relationships in the model. What we see in the graph view is that the conclude SAR operation and the request and initiate SAR resources are operational activities that are mapped to the maritime SAR capability. The MSAR Tactical C2 Phase 3 is an operational performer that exhibits the maritime SAR capability. And the MSAR C2 Phase 1 to Phase 3 are actually specializations or special extensions of that maritime SAR capability. And then for the MSAR C2 Phase 1 capability, we can see other operational activities, performers, and capabilities that are linked to it in the diagram. The really cool thing about this graph is that Syndeia's Digital Thread Explorer renders the model elements and their relationships in a very interactive, navigable graph. It lets you follow the architecture the way it was really designed, not package by package or diagram by diagram, but relation by relation. You can start at a capability and trace your way to resources, or start with an operational activity and navigate to performers and immediately see which systems and resources it depend on, all without opening these diagrams manually. Having seen this, now let's shift to Syndeia pipelines for automating UF to Confluence report generation. So we're going to go to the pipelines tab, and we'll see all the pipelines that have run successfully recently. We'll go to this UAF search and rescue to Confluence pipeline. Now, in any complex program, information doesn't live in one place, and keeping it synchronized manually is a losing battle. Engineers update the architecture model, but reports go stale. Stakeholders work from outdated documents, and critical decisions get made on information that no longer reflects the current design. Syndeia Pipelines solves this exact problem. A pipeline is configured, repeatable workflow that reads directly from your source models and tools, transforms the data, and publishes it to wherever your team needs it, automatically, consistently, and on demand. no copy paste, no version drift. So let's see what we see here. We see this particular pipeline. The table view shows the previous runs of the pipeline. We can see each row here is a specific step in the pipeline, and the vertical columns are the different runs of the pipeline. If you have network outages, these pipelines can fail, obviously, and that's what you see the red anomaly over here. But the good thing is that these pipelines can trigger the run automatically, so you can schedule them. So this one is scheduled to run every midnight, but I can also trigger it on demand. The other analytics on the bottom of the page show you the time taken by each task across different runs of the pipeline. There's also a graph view that shows the pipeline actions that are arranged in a sequence, so you know which one comes first. So in this case, we are going to sign into Syndeia, collect the taxonomy model from the UAF SAR example, and publish tables to Confluence and send a Slack notification. Now the green check marks show that the last run, all these actions successfully completed. Now what we can do is, as I said, this can run at midnight by itself, but I can trigger the run here. When I trigger the run, you can see this all goes to gray, and the orange now starts showing the run that's active. So you see the live animation of the pipeline. This may take a few seconds as it's going through that UAF SAR example on Teamwork Cloud and collecting the capability taxonomy or the strategic capabilities taxonomy, the resources taxonomy, and the services taxonomy, and is going to publish me a Confluence table with that data and send me a Slack notification. You can see it's working through its way through. The great thing about this is it's asynchronous, so you can move around, you can navigate other parts. You can see the live animation happening here also. There's a new run that has started, it's in progress, and you can see this is a step that's actually running right now. Now we can see that that run has completed. All the steps passed successfully. In the graph view, we can see the pipeline has completed. I actually got a Slack notification on a channel that I've configured this pipeline for with a link to the Confluence report, which is ready. I just clicked on that link, and now you can see that Confluence report. So what you see on that report is a strategic taxonomy that's been published. So it lists all the capabilities in an alphanumerically sorted fashion. For each capability, it lists the description of that capability in the UF SAR model. It then has a table with the services taxonomy, and it has provided the description for all the services that are in the UF SAR model. And then it has another table with the resources taxonomy that has the description for the resources as well. Now, this is the very first pipeline that we are demonstrating with that UF SAR example. I will come back to you with some more pipelines that show some of the relationships between the capabilities in the taxonomy also published. We can also generate diagrams onto these Confluence reports very easily. Now, for creating multiple reports for different stakeholders, you can add to the same pipeline or configure different pipelines depending on the type of topology you want. So in the same pipeline, I could create multiple Confluence pages, each with different perspective for the stakeholder. Or if you want, we could separate them out in different pipelines. So I hope you like that short demonstration and you've seen the power of Syndeia pipelines. Stay tuned for more demos coming from us. Thank you and have a great day.